Peace, my family, and we're all back to all those coming out of that good cocoon for the first time. Welcome. This your girl, the butterfly. We about to take off. Let's fly. Just want to send you all the good healing energy your way. Peace, love, happiness, harmony, and abundance. Hope you guys are out there keeping your mind right in that good mind. How y'all feeling? Hope you guys most definitely moving on up in your higher natures, family. And cleansing. Yeah, you know what's up. You gotta cleanse. Cleansing the lives. I came out here today to read, and this is Torah 1, Genesis, the genes of Isis. This right here will certainly help you on this good journey. So with that being said, this is still chapter 2, and it continues, family. So let's read. It's called The Cloning of a New Breed, and it reads, Adam was comprised of colors and properties from the surface of the ground. Or the atomogram. He was as a black olive, as black as the shadow hour in the skin tone of the original Asiatic black man. The Hindu, yet reddish color or reddish skin color. Thus, this is where you get the name Adam or Adam, meaning red or redding. The Yasha of the Elohim shaped Adam from Ninti's clot of granulated blood from the people of the ground. Cadman was given the breath of divine life, and Adam was born a spirit. When blood is congealed or dried, it becomes a dark brown, reddish powder. Once water is added to it, it liquefies it again, and the life can be reanimated. That's why they're talking about the scientists who had to do this genetic breeding to make sure the woman was properly ovulating at the 3rd or 3-month period, or the 3-month period of perfection, and that the husband had his senses counted up to par, so they could produce these children, the cabin and the cave, where they would call out of the atom of ground. The Zakar was created, and 3 years later, Nekeba from Zakar, Adam, this is talking about his cells, and it's the male that controls the gender, right? It's the male that controls the gender, XX or XY. The male has both X and Y. 33 and 1/3 comes from the male. 33 and 1/3 comes from the male. 33 and 1/3 comes from the female. 23 chromosomes from the male having X's and Y's, and 23 chromosomes from the female having only active X's. When the male and female comes together to have sex, the male ejaculates, and his X or Y chromosome determines the gender of the child. It will be so that the female comes out of the side or cell to the left side. X, Y equals X. And to the left, Y into the right X. So Nakeba was taken out of cabin by the scientist Nergal. The Elohim did this scientific part, and their part as representation or representatives on earth that were responsible for the nursery. And this being was to have a special mind and a special form, be in the image and likeness of the Elohim. That is why Yahshua, the Elohim, Enki, who was going to put a portion of himself into him, the cabin, to make him an Elohim on earth. That's why, or that's also why they saw Cadmon with the two Yads and instead of one, and having called also Zakar or Adam became a Nefesh, a claim, which is the Nefesh, which is the spirit, and you came with one Yad, which is the living body, the Ba, the soul, and spirit means he is now, divine and mortal. Before the birth of Cadmon and Nakeba, the Pygmy and the Watusi came together and were known as the Adamites, and put as the holy place, being that they were both of the Adam and the ground. And the Yahshua the Elohim shaped Cadmon, the Adam, from Ninti's clot of lujated blood, dust from the people of the ground, earthling, and gave him the breath of divine life. And Cadmon, Adam was born a Nefesh, a clay, a living spirit. It goes on to say, a Yahshua and a Yahshua the Elohim ordered Arizal to build the foundation of the garden, and Ashnon and Thokiak, who came from the school of the peacock, Murdoch, for the planting of this special enclosed garden of delight and pleasure. And over there he placed Adam, the Adam, Cadmon, whom was cloned. The Yahweh Elohim and Nunakim planted the garden, and from the garden Adam and she made to grow every tree that's pleasant to the sight. That is the flowers that are beautiful but unedible. Then she made vegetation that was good for food, and then they mentioned the tree of life, which are herbs for healing, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is the Akashic records that reveal will power to man, the Adamites. This is made clear in Genesis 3:6. And from that the same ground did a Yahshua of the Elohim grow every tree and flower that is beautiful to the sight, and vegetation that was to be agreeable and for food, a special tree of hallucinating herbs in the center of the enclosed garden, under which sat the scroll of oil. This tree is of awareness, which is to be agreeable in the sight of a Yahshua, and that which is disagreeable in the sight of a Yahshua, giving one his own willpower. Alright, so that right there was the end of that heading. So I'm going to stop right there for now. Again, family, you are encouraged so much so to check this out yourself and read on this good journey within. You're going to need it. Alright, so I'm going to leave it at that for now. Again, family, know that you are loved beyond this world and in it. You're going to spread that love one to another, family. Be the peace that you seek. Release our master teacher, Dr. Malachi out. Peace, shalom, Ashuk, divine love, family, and watching. And it's all. Yeah.